shot and scores!
Nice Shabbat curled and drives and scores!
And the Senators win it.
Five apart, another chance, Madison scores! Great Madison! Oh, and got it! Green! Oh, Green again! Scores!
Welcome to SENS Talk. My name is Brandon, and I'm your host. Now, before we get started, please follow us on Twitter at SENSTalk_, and on Instagram at SENSTalk. Now, last night, Ottawa took on the Calgary Flames, but before we get into tonight's recap, a few things. Firstly, use the promo code SENSTalk on SeatGeek.com to save $20 off your first purchase. It's a great deal. Take advantage of that today. As well, we are honored to be sponsored by the premier culture magazine in Ottawa, Faces Magazine. Make sure to check out the new May issue from Faces Magazine today. Magazines are offered for free in grocery stores and select locations across Ottawa. And this month's issue features a cover interview with Senators legend Markstrom. Also in this issue, Mark is joined with his co-host Brent Wallace as they discuss their new hit show, The Wally Methot Show. Also, if you're not convinced yet, the May issue has features on Gord Wilson, Megan Chayka, and Alex Medias of the Ottawa Redblacks. Also, do not forget to follow Faces on their social channels for great content, crazy contests, and more. That's at Faces Ottawa for their Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook pages. Now, before we get into the recap, I'm going to give you the schedule this week for SENS Talk. As the season is coming to a close, I want to fill you in on what to expect in the off season here at SENS Talk. So, firstly, this Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time before the Sens Leafs game at 8, join yours truly, myself, Brandon Plant, with Brandon Mackey and SENS Talk's host Noah Luden, as we have a special pre-game show live here on youtube.com/SensTalk that's going to kick off at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time here on Wednesday on youtube.com/SensTalk. That pre-game show should take place from 6:30 to 7:45, pardon me. It should be a really fun time. I look forward to interacting with all you guys in the chat box, answering your questions, etc. It's always a fun time, so make sure to stop by and say hi this Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time here on youtube.com/SensTalk. After the Wednesday night's game against Ottawa and the Leafs, the season finale for Ottawa, of course, we'll have our post-game recap here, uploaded the same night of the game. Thursday, after the Sens season finale, I'm gonna upload another episode of Let's Talk. In this episode of Let's Talk, we'll be discussing the controversy around Joey Daccord and Philip Gustafson. Who should be protected in the expansion draft? Let's talk about it on Thursday. After Thursday, expect a bunch of new content in the coming days on topics such as a Sens season review series on each position, such as the review on the defense of the season, a review on the goalies this season, etc. Also, we're going to do a review on the management. Other content such as NHL draft coverage or expansion draft coverage, a Sens Stonks season roundup video or episode with Noah Luden, plus more. So much great content coming your way. So just because the season is over for the Ottawa Senators does not mean we're done here at SENS Talk. Get ready for lots of great content during the offseason. Now, the game notes from last night's game. Firstly, Vitaly Abramov reassigned to the taxi squad before the game. Hopefully he could get back into the lineup one more time on Wednesday. Now, starting in net for Ottawa last night was Anton Forsberg, and for the Calgary Flames, it was Jacob Markstrom. Now, the game recap, Sens got dominated in the first 35 minutes of the game. They gave up 3 goals in the first 35 minutes. 2 of those goals came in the first 5 minutes of the second period. Ottawa only got 3 shots on goal in the first period of play. Not good enough. Now, the lone Sens goal was Norris's 16th of the season off a beautiful pass from Drake Batherson, as you can see right here. Unfortunately, though, that only made it a 4-1 game at the time. However, the Sens' non-shutout streak continues. The Ottawa Senators are the lone team in the NHL right now that has not been shut out this season. Hopefully that continues on Wednesday against the Leafs. Now, the Flames, unfortunately, after that Norris goal, would close it out, and they would take last night's game 6-1 over the Ottawa Senators. So my game thoughts, firstly, Jacob Bernard Docker impressed. Great transition game last night. A few shots on net too. I believe he had 3. He had just under 18 minutes on the ice, and DJ Smith said he was the most impressive defensive player by far last night for the Ottawa Senators. So high praise by the head coach of Ottawa, and hopefully next season, this is something that JBD can build off of going into the offseason, and the next season, hopefully JBD can become a bona fide, for sure, legitimate, and concrete NHL defenseman. Hopefully next season, JBD can take this next step. I think he can. Last night shows why he can. Now, the Sens got dominated from the start. The Senators, firstly, in the first 2 periods, got outshot by 13 shots, and they only had 3 shots in the first period of play. So for Ottawa, not a great effort whatsoever. And it was one of those games where Ottawa, they just never were really in it. Like, the first goal Ottawa gave up 10 minutes in, Victor Mete had a hell of a back check trying to get back, but just a bad turnover there. And it was a weird one to give up by Forsberg. It was a breakaway goal, but right off the bat, it looked like Calgary was going to be swarming Ottawa, and they really did. They swarmed Ottawa. Speaking of that, Forsberg got chased after the fourth goal, and he only stopped on 23 shots. He stopped 19. I say 2 out of 3 of those goals he couldn't have stopped, but that fourth goal, the last goal he gave up, terrible goal. That goal had to be stopped. It was a slap shot from the blue line, not even deflected in, just cleanly beat him. That's a goal that he needs to have back. Now, in relief, Philip Gustafsson stopped 11 shots out of 13 attempts on him. Not much you can really say. Listen, Ottawa was gassed at that point, and he's had a great season. Not much to really look into that. Now, the Senators are now 0-8-2 on the second game of back-to-backs this season after yesterday's loss. So that means in 10 games, Ottawa had a bunch of back-to-backs this season, and on each of those back-to-backs, the second game of those back-to-backs, Ottawa has not won one game all season, and they will not win a game all season on the second game of the back-to-back. So, going into next season, firstly, NHL, please lower the amount of back-to-back games for Ottawa, please. Secondly, if we have a bunch of back-to-back games next season, I will be looking specifically towards the stat next season, the record, to see if Ottawa improves in that department, because 0-8-2, that's 20 points right there. 10 wins, 20 points. That's the difference from the playoffs, potentially. You can win 4 of those games, 8 points. We're in a playoff spot right now. So for Ottawa, 0-8-2, plus losing 9 in a row against Edmonton, it cost them the playoffs in the grand scheme of things. But hey, there's a lot to be positive about this season. And listen, 0-8-2, it's a back-to-back, it's a young team. They're going to learn, and they're going to get better in that department. Now, I'm going to get to one of your questions before we wrap up today's video. So the question comes in from SM. They ask, if you had to give Ottawa a grade for the season, what would it be? Based on everything, trades, how the season's going, etc. So if you would have asked me this in the first half of the season, I would have given it like a C- probably, or like a D. But now I would give it a solid B+. When Ottawa got rid of all the quote-unquote plug players, veterans that weren't really contributing, they suddenly, of course, got better, and they've been one of the hottest teams in the National Hockey League so far in the second half of this season in the National Hockey League. Look at players like Drake Batherson, Tim Stützle, Josh Norris. The young forward core has really, really impressed this season. So in that department, I give it an A, actually. In the second half of the season, Ottawa has been really impressive. Gustafsson has broken out as a legitimate potential starting goalie in the National Hockey League. The forward group is rounding into form nicely, and the defensive core is looking decent, to be honest, too. So the first half, I would give it like a D. The second half of the NHL season, a B+/A-. I think would be a fair grade to evaluate Ottawa when it comes to everything. Now, besides that, the SENS Talk star of the night voted by you, the fans, an overwhelming majority. It is Jacob Bernard-Docker, well-deserved, one of his better games of the National Hockey League last night. And hopefully, like I said before, I'll say it again, this is hopefully something he can build off of going into the offseason and going to the next season, where he tries to establish himself as a legitimate NHL defenseman. Now, the next SENS game is this Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, weirdly, 8 p.m. Eastern Time versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. Ottawa, I'm begging you, please win the last game against Toronto. That would just be truly sicko. So, of course, I'll see you this Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the special pregame show with yours truly, Brendan Mackey and Noah Luden, here on youtube.com/SensTalk at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. But besides that, I appreciate all the support. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like this video, share this circle stuff, and click the big red button down there, and subscribe to us. And most importantly of all, turn the notification bell on so you get notified whenever we upload a new video. Besides that, thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you all there on the special pregame show this Wednesday, at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll see you all then. Go Sens, go.